Alright, this has always been a favorite of mine since they started showing Infigo and Alta. How are you? Hey, how are you doing? Good to see you. How you been? I got the Hestias, huh? Did y'all save this seat for me? Why is nobody in that seat?
Well, because it's ready for you.
Oh, thank you.
Get out of bed, make a move or two. Thanks to you, there's a net below. 'Cause otherwise, well, I don't know. And thanks to you,
Okay, if I switch it
there
up a
are
little bit for
promises.
Sure, yeah.
you. So, there's a whole bunch of things that come out just really nice. And one that I think shows a little bit of everything, a little bit of sound stage, a little bit of dynamics, a little bit of bass, is this one.
Smile.
Yeah, can you do a little walkthrough of all the gear? For people using.
Thank you.
Let me just walk through the system a little bit, what's going on here.
Okay, let me.
So this year we have the Method 4, which you've seen before. That's our DAC, and just like always, you can very easily just with one thumb screw pop the hood and have a look at what's inside. This is something that's not just for the show, but we always do it this way.
Okay.
So in previous year, you've seen the Method 3s, the mono blocks.
Yep.
Right now they're only connected to a power cord so that they're lighting up and sitting there being pretty.
Uh-huh.
Because the music right now comes
Being played from here. The stereo
this,
version.
which is our new Method 6 stereo amplifier.
Okay, cool.
So that's the first time that we show it to the world. This is a world premiere. And it's essentially two Method 3s into one Method
Chassis.
6.
Okay.
Yeah, so 2 times 3 is 6.
Yes. True.
So it's a
dual mono. Yeah, exactly.
So it has each their own transformer, which is a dual shield. There's a shield inside the transformer and a cover around it, so to shield even extra.
Yep.
So the only thing that this shares is the control circuit and the input power. Other than that, everything is completely double.
It's beautiful.
And again, the same thing. You can just see and inside.
The power,
There's
the
hundreds
powers.
of transistors again, just making this Class A, but
Yeah.
not cooking
It's,
the room.
yeah,
Same
exactly.
thing. You can feel it's a little warmer,
But
maybe
yeah.
than the Method 3, but that's because it's smaller, so it needs to. It has a
Doesn't
smaller
have as much of a
surface.
heat sink. Yeah. But
And the heat sink is also again curved, so that
a little
it's
more
just
surface
like-
area.
Yeah. but also it doesn't resonate. There's no resonance frequency.
Yeah.
So you can have kick drums, all sorts of stuff going on. This
It's
thing
not
is
one of those
sonically
long
dead.
fins. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
because those would be xylophone.
Yeah, so you were able to get it with that tracking bias to get it
Yes.
Class A without too much heat, which is
Yes,
a big
exactly.
it's a big
So-
concern of these big Class A amps.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
So
they
you
will
get the
very-
advantages of Class A without the negatives, so that's great.
That's right.
Now, is the power about the same? What's the difference in power?
So this is 2 times 100 watts in 8 ohms.
Okay.
Okay. And it stays full Class A that way.
Okay.
So it is nearing 200 watts in 4 ohm.
Okay.
But you may run into a little bit of current limitations
Okay.
for the whole entire frequency bandwidth, because we go pretty much from DC to 200 kilohertz.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this amplifier has no low roll off, but it has a protection circuit to make sure that
Yeah, you
DC
need a
will never
protection, yeah,
reach
for that.
your speakers.
Or you'll be blowing
But
some of
because
these.
it is going to give a very, very tight bass. And
Okay.
that's just something that we like, that it's controlled.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent. And the price point on that one is
$20,000.
okay.
So we were able to reduce not only
price.
the size, but also the price.
Yes, it looks beautiful though, and I love the
you.
acrylic top. Plus the you have the option always to have.
Oh yeah, it's always there, both of them. Yeah. And another thing to take note is the cabling. So we also build cables because
Oh, you
those
do?
actually were the bottleneck between, for instance, the DAC and the amplifier. So this is our latest version. It's monocrystalline copper that's cryogenically treated.
Okay.
So
And you're using Furatech connectors on the end?
yes, that's
Okay.
right. Yeah.
Very
and for
nice.
the XLRs, we have EIZZ connectors.
Interesting.
Very thick gold.
All right, and maybe we should talk about the speakers next. The Hestias, I got to see these. You didn't have them in Seattle, but you had them in Capital Audio Fest. Is that
That's
right?
right.
Yes. Yeah, I've been long looking forward to these because these are kind of an open baffle design, right?
Sure, let me show you.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, people may not realize that.
let me explain. We call the design actually dipolido. I'll
Okay,
explain why.
Dipolido. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, let's talk about why.
Well, it's the mid-ranges are dipoles. They are arranged in a quasi-diapolido configuration. The 2 lower mid-ranges match their output and impedance to the single one on top. The reason we use 2 underneath is because they will meld better into the bass of the woofer.
Interesting.
All the drivers are titanium former, 5.1 inch voice coil, 3.1, 3.1, 3.1. All the drivers use die-cast magnesium cages and have ferrite and neodymium hybrid magnets. And the hybrid magnets allow for very intense but very well spaced, spread magnetic flux, so that the woofer has the same magnetic flux mid-ranges also, no matter what the level is, and it makes it more linear.
Okay.
Everything is for linearity and control, and we love working with Infigo because the speakers are capable of a level of openness that needs an amplifier that has a true black background and lets you hear every intimate detail without etching. And
Wide
that's what they
bandwidth,
do.
yeah. Are you using transmission line bass here?
It's XTL based. which is,
XTL, okay.
patent pending, about to
Let's
come
hear about
through.
okay.
And let me explain.
Yeah, let me.
This is basically taking tune port and transmission line to their ultimate level.
Is that right?
The thing with transmission line always was that basically the design of transmission line is based on the idea of using a pipe organ and then damping it down with padding inside so that the single peak would not overwhelm. All right? And yes, it coupled to the woofer from resonance on down, but it had the problem of having this high Q single note resonance that you had to eliminate.
Okay.
All right. The thing with tune port was that it worked fine from resonance on up, but
But
once
not
you got
below the
below
port.
resonance,
Yeah.
the woofer decoupled. I mean, I
Yeah.
actually got to ask Neville Teal about this back in '73 because I saw that problem back then. And I asked him, I said, what does the woofer do below resonance? And he looked at me and he said, decouples at 24 dB per octave. And I said, oh, you mean it moves freely without creating sound, but limiting power handling and creating Doppler distortion, to which he said yes.
Which you often can hear just playing test tones, you know, a sweep. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what we want what a transmission line does below resonance, but not to need the padding to take out the resonant mode. All right, because we don't want padding at all. We want full linearity. We want no loss into heat, which is what padding does. And we don't change the speed of sound, which is what padding does. We want the speed of sound in the cabinet to be the same as outside the cabinet.
Oh, okay.
All right. And so we have tune port to resonance, and the transmission line cuts in at resonance and goes on down. Speakers don't decouple till 8 hertz.
Oh, wow.
We don't have the demo here, but in another room with a pair of the Atoms, which is only an 8.5-inch woofer, which will blow away any 15-inch sub you ever saw. We have over there a demo of a 2-story piano with a resonant node of 15.75 hertz.
Okay.
And you feel and hear it as if that piano were in the room with no limitation at all.
That would be interesting to hear. Yeah. Okay.
Do that.
Okay.
All right?
So your sub is in the other.
There are no subwoofers here.
Okay, you're just using the base module. I thought you had said you have a sub that does that, but okay.
No.
This you have it already in the cabinet.
This is the only driver in the cabinet, and you have the transmission line. And
But on your smaller models,
all of them are the same way.
oh, okay, all right.
Every XTL bases and it always
In every
shocks-
one of them,
It shocks people. For example,
Okay.
the Alyssas, all right?
even the small bookshelf.
The Alyssas, you send them out to somebody, a dealer, when I was a local dealer, when I had just gotten them in the first sample run of production, I asked him to come over and listen to it. Now that dealer is a professional bass player.
Okay.
So normally the bottom note on the bass is 31.5 hertz, all right? And he brought over, of course, test material to listen to a bass with that note on it.
Okay.
On those speakers, we played it and the room moved. And he looked at me and he was just shocked and said to me, "Can you produce a pro version of that? Because normally I need a refrigerator to get that note in performance." And we're in the process of making a pro.
So there, yeah. Then I definitely have to do, because I misunderstood you. I thought you had to do a sub with that, with the XTL, but that's in.
That in there.
Wow.
Those go down to 30 hertz flat.
Okay.
These go down, 16 easily.
Okay, that's impressive. Yeah, so I'll have to go visit the other room then.
Very good.
But these sound awesome.
727 and ask them to play the piano.
That I definitely will. Yeah, this is awesome. Thank you guys.